So I'm doing like a little eye tutorial for you. So I'm going to do like a nice smoky night out glam look because it was requested. So I'm going to give that to you. But I used on my eyes the Plouise base in the shade Rumour 2. I used the PC11 from Peaches and Cream, and I literally just tapped that on, and then I used the PC10 Peaches and Cream brush, and I just buffed that all in just to give myself a nice base for all my eyeshadows to go on. You just use that nice fluffy brush just to blend out any crease in. And I literally took that all the way over the lid and just a little bit underneath the brow. Not too high, but just enough to cover the complete lid, even to the outer edges, because we're going to have a nice blown out eye shape. So I'm starting off using the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush bronzer in the shade 2 medium. I'm going to use this as my transition colour, and I'm using the My Kit Comb My Tapered Crease 1.12 brush. Sorry about my little dog barking in the background. And I'm just going to pop that, tap off the excess and pop it on the tip of the brush. And I just start in the centre using a really light touch. So move your hand down the barrel of the brush and you'll get like a bit more of a flexibility and a bit more movement on the brush. If your hand's too near the tip of the brush, you're not going to have as much movement. So bear that in mind when you're blending. So just do nice windscreen wiper motions just to build up the colour a little bit. And this is just what we call a transition colour, so it's really nice to start with a transition colour. I mean, some people don't, some people do it at the end and blend it all out. This is just the way I like to blend my eyeshadows. Yeah, and I just love doing it this way because I think it just gives you a nice starting point. And then all you know, your eyeshadows are all going to blend in seamlessly. So I'm going completely across from the inner corner to the outer corner. I'm just building up that colour. And then I do, to soften the blend, small circular motions. This is just like a really soft wash of colour to start off with. And I just like to flick upwards and outwards until I get to the outer edge of my eye. Always be careful, I don't know if you've seen me do it, but when you get to the outer, right, sorry, I was rudely interrupted by a parcel. Not mine, but anyway, moving on. Yeah, and when you get to the outer part of your eye, this is what I always teach clients when they're booking a lesson, because I think it was one of those things that I used to do back in the day, and my eyeshadows just keep coming out and out. So when you get to the outer part of the eye, instead of bringing it out too far, as soon as you get to this point, start buffing inwards. And then if you do want to bring it out, I just bring it out a little bit at a time. So that's just like a little tip for you. So yeah, just start to bring it in towards the eye. Okay, so I've just built that up on both eyes. And as you can see, I've taken it quite high because I like the bronzer to really buff and blend out and upwards. I always like to run a little bit just up into the brow as well, so it blends in with my nose contour, which I'll do later. So yeah, that is your transition colour. Okay, so I'm going in with the MAC 221. I'm just packing that on the tip of the brush. And this is a nice small little crease brush. You can get right into the crease. And I'm just going to start by tapping this on the outer edge of the eye first, just to start adding up the smokiness, and then start to softly blend out into the crease. And I want to keep it tight within the crease, so I don't want to go too high. I don't want to take it as high as we did with the bronzer. Yeah, just starting to buff that out, and I want to follow it from this line up. Just keep within that guideline. I always like to just have it on the outer edge of the eye. And as you can see, when I really want a nice soft blend, I just start to flick up and outwards. And then I always go back in with my first blending brush just to soften and blend as I go. Sorry, brush hairs keep falling out. I'm just I'm gonna keep building that colour up until I'm happy. Okay, so I've just built up that colour and I've just started to wing up and outwards. Now you don't have to do this, you can just literally keep it rounded and circular. But I just like it to lift my eye shape up a little bit more. Now I'm going to go in and just darken up the outer edge even more with my Kitco 1.20, my Precise Crease. It's just a tiny little baby one. So I'm just going to create like a little V shape. So just across and then fill up. So it's like this. Keep it really tight and underneath that crease. And just flick into that colour. And I'm going to pick up that medium brush with a little bit of product from the medium brown shade that we used, just to soften and blend everything in. Just keep going back and forth between all the brushes. Just soften over everything. So this is my starting brush. It's just really light little touches, hardly touching the skin. A little bit more transition colour. Go back in with bronzer just to soften everything. Okay, so it should look something like this. I mean, I'm not having the best day with blending, but I really can't be arsed. It's a tough day as it is. Let's just continue. Push through, stay positive. Yeah, we all have those days, don't we? Even us makeup artists. Now for the fun part, some shimmer. So I'm going to go in with like a gold from the palette and my new favourite brush from my Kitco, which is the My Small Shadow 1.5 brush. So I've just packed it on. I pop a bit of setting spray on the brush just to really fix the eyeshadow so it stops from any fallout occurring. Tap off the excess. And just where this gap is, up until about here, I'm going to fill with shimmer. Or you can go matte, which is like a matte eyeshadow if you want to skip the shimmer part. Add a little bit of shimmer. And just do tapping motions. So I'm using the tip of the brush to really push underneath the crease so it doesn't go too high. Okay, so I've got that on, and then I always like to have the brush on the other side clean. So I flip the brush around on the clean side and I just start to add that gradient effect by just tickling over the shimmer. So we join the matte brown and the shimmer together. And then switch back over to the shimmery side if we need a little bit more shimmer to go out. Taking it a little bit over at a time. You should get a nice gradient. If gone too far, just get your matte brown shadow brushes and just dust in towards the shimmer. Do a tiny bit more just here. Just make sure you match everything up as best as possible. That'll do. Okay, now I just want to add a little bit of line on the lash line. I'm going to go in with a really flat defining brush, and this is my flat definer from my Kitco, the 1.21. Just going to stamp that using the black eyeshadow from the palette along the lash line. Tap off the excess. You can spray your brush as well if you want a bit more of intensity. Just stamp that all the way across the lash line. Let's take it a little bit higher on the outer edge to kind of create more of like a winged shape, so it wings up into the shadow. Just see the difference. Okay, so I've run that black eyeshadow just across the lash line. Now I'm going to just do a little bit underneath the eye. Cleaned my brush. I'm just going to go back in with the My Kit Co. My Precise Crease 1.20. I'm going to go in with the bronzer. So yeah, so I'm just going to run it along the lower lash line just so it meets up with the top eyeshadow. I'm just going to go in with the medium brown that we did. And just pop that on the outer edge of the lower lash line. Sorry about the noise from my dog, she's trying to get comfy. Now I'm going to fill it in with Charlotte Tilbury's Colour Chameleon in Amber Haze, just in my waterline. This is a nice bronzy metallic, so I feel go nice with this look. So I just wanted to add a little bit of glitter, just to vamp it up a little bit. So I'm going in with NYX Glitter Primer. And the same flat brush, my small shadow from My Kit Co. I'm just going to take a little bit off the back of my hand. Small amount of the glitter primer. Just tap that at the front of the lid. And I'm using MAC Gold Glitter. Just one of my faves. Just tapping that over the top. So pretty. Okay, so now I'm just going to pop a little bit of highlight in the inner corner. And I'm using the My Kit Co Pro. Ooh. My detailing smudge 1.13. I'm just gonna pop it through clean with a brush just to soften. So I just finished off with a little bit of brow highlight, just to lift the brow bone, and then I just popped on some Ardell Demi Wispies just to finish off that eye. I'm just going to finish the rest of my face and then I'll show you the finished look.